So then how does no always mean no?
It doesn't.
She said it, not me.
No can mean yeah.
She said it, not me. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Hit that like and subscribe. You know I do it for you. And let's party, guys. It is time for another episode of It's Complicated. If you're not familiar, street interviews with people in Vegas about modern dating. Let's dive right in.
If you were on a job interview, would you prefer to be the applicant submitting your resume or the one who's hiring?
Definitely the one who's hiring.
The one who's hiring.
Why?
Because I'd have power.
Power. Yep.
Can you see the similarity between that situation and when a man approaches a woman for a date?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's applying to be in her life and she's the decider, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that an awfully privileged position to be in?
Yup.
Yeah.
Isn't that an awfully privileged position to be in?
Yeah.
Why are so many women reluctant to admit they have privilege?
Because it would take away from their victim. Oh, I'm just a small little girl and I don't know any better and you need to help me. But they also have the other side of, I'm a strong, independent, need no man. They can wear either mask, whichever one fits. And this takes away from one of their masks.
I don't know.
What are your thoughts on the following statement? Dating for women is like shopping. Dating for men is like a job interview that he's paying for.
I agree somewhat.
Yep.
Who faces more rejection, men or women?
Come on.
I think men do. Honestly. I think men do.
All right, at least they know it.
Why is that?
Because they have to shoot the shot first, usually.
Mhm.
So I feel like, usually women have more of an opportunity to reject.
Men are always feel pressured to ask, and I feel like women don't feel as pressured, so they get turned down more.
Why are
So if you don't ask, how are you getting turned down more?
What?
The math ain't mathin', honey.
men expected to initiate just about everything leading up to a date or relationship?
Probably societal norms. I feel like it's getting better, though, but...
Probably stereotypes. Yeah, modern dating standards, I guess.
Why can't there be more give and take?
I think there is once you're, in the relationship, but I feel like it's hard.
True.
In today's day and age, because everyone's on social media, so I feel like it's easier to just, text.
I mean, it's definitely changed. If you think back then, a lot of the times, it was 100% guys are always going for it. And now I feel like, especially with dating apps and stuff, I find myself reaching out to some of the guys I match with first. But, I'm never, I don't know. It's just I think it's just ingrained.
Okay, guys, I need your comments. She said she reaches out to some of the guys she matches with. We all know the strategy of being on a dating app as a dude is just swipe right on everybody and sort it out later. So what do you think that means that she is now reaching out to guys? Do you think she's just, a little bit elevated and, into the modern gender roles where the woman can do anything? Or is she getting a little bit older, not in fantastic shape? She's not ugly, but she's certainly not a 10. And do you think that is the experience of the average woman on these dating apps?
Trained into you and you're like,
What's the worst response you got after rejecting a guy?
Probably just ghosting.
They get angry. They're aggressive. They can be aggressive. Men can be aggressive.
That's true. That's true. This is the behavior that they call toxic masculinity, but in fact, it is the behavior that manifests when you don't have masculinity. A masculine man is comfortable and confident in himself to go and ask out a woman, and if she says no, all right, on to the next one. The ones who get angry are not the masculine men. This is not toxic masculinity. This is a lack of masculinity.
They call you ugly after.
yeah. They say your friends.
I thought you were ugly anyways.
Yeah, guys, don't do that. Don't do that. First of all, if you really did think she was ugly, then don't hit on her. Unless you're, obviously just looking for recreational fun. But if you get rejected, say, well, I didn't want to anyway. Obviously you did. It just makes us all look bad.
Have you ever been rejected, and if so, how did you react?
They have to think about it. They can't even remember. They can't even remember. Either that, or there was one guy who was so far out of their league that they thought, oh, I can get him. And they just got crushed. And they're like, I don't want to relive this. I don't want to relive this. Let's see which one it is.
No.
I feel like something just might have not worked out or fizzled out, I suppose. But I've never been rejected on the spot, I guess.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine not understanding the experience of being rejected? Crazy.
I have been rejected, and I usually play it cool. You know what? If he doesn't want me, I don't want him.
See, it's funny how the women can get away with that because she actually does have a number of other options. And maybe you do too, but it doesn't seem that way when you're asking her out and then you're like, oh, you're ugly. But she can get away with the same thing, just more double standards.
In high school, I definitely was rejected, and I feel like I was very like emotional back then, so I kind of like freak out, texted the guy, and was
She seems like the kind of girl who had her nerdy stage, and then as she got older, she was like, oh, I got to do this.
like going off on him, but I don't know, I can't think of like recently.
How can a person stay motivated if they never have any success?
Again, you really need to question your entire being if you have no success.
Your entire being.
Would you have confidence if you got zero attention from men?
No.
Notice how she doesn't even understand the point that was just made. The question is, how are you going to remain confident when you're continually getting rejected? And she's like, well, you just got to brush it off and do it. And then the very next question, well, would you be able to have that confidence? No. And she has no idea. She has no idea. None of them do. Some of them are a little bit more perceptive, but they will never understand what it's truly like to be a man.
A lot more difficult to be confident because, yeah, I don't know. It's very hard to look at this from a guy's perspective because we can only look at it from a girl's, to be honest.
See, at least she's aware of that. At least she's aware of that.
So it makes things a little bit more difficult to answer questions like that.
Have you ever empathized or thought about how it feels to be a man and have the pressure of pursuing women and risking rejection?
Yes, women are empathists. Empathists, whatever the right word is. Women
Neither of those, but okay.
have a bigger heart, and I think we care about men's feelings much more than men care about women's feelings.
Don't ever, 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 ever let that be what you believe. Men are the true romantics. We have to pretend that we're playing it cool, otherwise you won't like us. But men are just as emotional. We just have to keep a cap on it. That is masculinity.
And that is why women tend to date shitty men.
Yeah, I always think about that. I'm always like, dang, if I was a man, I would never go to people.
Women face rejection every single day in the workplace. They get ridiculed for jobs if they're not wearing enough makeup or if they are wearing too much makeup. There are so many other things, and I think we need to just understand that everybody goes through their own like levels of privilege and their own levels of discrimination too.
Okay, we can acknowledge that. But right now we're trying to acknowledge what men go through, and you have to bring it back to yourself.
Do you think women have difficulty seeing things from a male perspective?
For
Yes.
sure. A lot of girls are very conceited and self-absorbed and only think of themselves and don't think about how the situation might affect somebody else, as in the guy that might be really nervous to talk to them, and just like blunt, rude responses can actually take like a pretty hard toll on guys. And I feel like a lot of girls don't realize that.
Why do you
well
think
said.
that is?
Well said.
Because girls get treated differently. Like, we just got let into a club.
They don't have to think about it. That's why. They don't have to think about it. They can just float through life. And again, like the other girl said, there's certainly issues that women have to deal with that men can never understand. I would never say that's not the case. But when it comes to this stuff, just floating through life, not a care in the world, and everything just comes and falls right in your lap.
For free, because we're on a guest list, and our
Yep.
friend that was with us
Who's a guy?
He's a guy, yeah. He was gonna have to pay like $60 to get in, and it's after hours. Like, that just really sucks, and there should definitely be a little bit different of a culture, I'd say, because it makes things much more difficult for guys when they can't even get out and get down there, and it's mostly girls or guys with money, I suppose.
If a woman rejects a
enough.
man, how should he know whether or not to keep trying?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because a lot of times y'all play this hard to get. A lot of times you're like, oh, he should have fought for me. But a lot of other times, like, no means no. So how, in her opinion, are we supposed to know the difference?
Her body language.
I just think you should not keep trying.
Yeah, if she rejects you, you should not keep trying.
And I tend to agree with that because of how things can get turned around on you. But if we're being honest, a lot of them do want you to continue trying. I don't think you should because of women like this. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, but there are women who, no means no. And you don't want to cross the wrong person. But the fact is, a lot of women want the chase.
Have you ever rejected a man specifically to test his determination to winning you over?
If she, see, because she's going to be one of the ones who wants to play hard to get. She's going to say yes.
Of course. I love the chase. I love the chase.
What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Cause I told you. And when did
So
I
if you're
tell
trying to
you?
go after a club, if you're going to go to a club where this girl is and the last two girls were, how are we supposed to know that you like the chase and they mean no when they say no? Body language.
What?
That doesn't mean anything. I don't know your body. That's the whole point here.
Have you ever rejected a man specifically to test his determination to winning you
They better say no.
over?
No.
Yes.
You have?
The determination?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So you just said that if a woman says no, then you should stop. And you should never do this, that, the other, be respectful, all that stuff. But also you test men to see whether or not they're going to keep pursuing you after you say no.
What?
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah, because it's pathetic. It's like, I already don't want you.
No.
So why would you keep,
No.
like...
So if you reject him,
Okay, maybe she didn't understand.
have you ever rejected someone for them to keep trying?
Like
That
to
was the
win me-
question.
oh.
Stupid.
Wait.
Have you
Oh
ever
my God.
rejected someone so they keep trying? Yes or no?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Say why.
And after all of that, she didn't understand the question, but then she does understand the question, and she still answers in the worst possible way. How are we supposed to know? Let me know, guys. What do you think between the last two interactions between these two women and the other one in the blue shirt? What can we take away from that? The degree of mixed messages within a very short time has my mind exploded.
So they know.
Because it's fun. It's a game. That's fucked up.
At least her friend called her out.
Have you ever rejected a man specifically to test his determination to
She's
winning
gonna
you
say
over?
yes.
100%.
So then how does no always mean no?
It doesn't.
She said it, not me.
No can mean yeah.
She said it, not me.
Well, that's confusing.
No can mean yeah and yeah can mean no. Just depends on how you say it.
Why don't women typically approach men?
Because of rejection.
If a woman chooses to approach a man and shoot her shot, is she more or less likely to be rejected than if a man approaches a woman?
She's obviously less likely.
Yes. I feel like men
There you
like
go.
that.
I think a woman.
Men do like that. I don't know about all of y'all, but I definitely would appreciate if you came up, think I'm cute, you say, hey, you're cute. What's good? Let's strike up a conversation. Let's go.
Shooting her shot is much more likely to end up with that man.
If a girl approaches a guy and like makes the first move, usually it works out better.
What advice would you give to the men that fear rejection?
Don't be scared. Just shoot your shot. Maybe you have the chance. Maybe don't. Rejection is just something to take in. It's something to learn from.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So shout out to It's Complicated. Definitely go check out the rest of the episode. Love what they are doing over there at that channel. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with you. Once again, I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.